Welcome, everybody. I have a special guest today. It's Vincent Zurzolo, president of ComicConnect, and he is going to talk about some of the amazing books they have coming up at their next auction. We also have good buddy Ben Labanog, who will provide some color commentary as well. What awesome books do you have to show us?
I am so excited about our upcoming ComicConnect event auction, all on ComicConnect.com. Let's start off with two really cool books right here. All Select Comics number 2, CGC graded 9.4, and All Winners number 8, CGC graded 7.0. And this is one of my favorite covers. It's not the highest grade because I own the highest grade. I own the 9.6 of this book, which is amazing. But this comic book is no slouch. It's a gorgeous 9.4. Anytime Cap is parachuting down, I just think that's the coolest. This is a great Schomburg cover with this bridge being destroyed by the invaders, I guess you could call them. It's a great book. And it's also, this copy is from the Promise collection, so it's a pedigree. The All Winners number 8 are a really tough book, and it's got the map of World War II on the bottom. It's a super cool book, very tough to get. And we've got a slew of great timelies. Yeah, Captain America number 1. just hey, listen, I've been doing this for almost 40 years. And still, every time I hold a key Golden Age comic book, I get as excited as I was the first time I did. Because, I mean, it's Captain America number 1. This is so cool, man. It's so cool. The year's 1941. We haven't gotten into the war yet. Cap is knocking out Hitler. Almost all the creators back then were in New York, and a majority of them were Jewish Americans. And they were trying to get the word out about what was going on in Germany and across Europe during those days. And this is a piece of not only pop culture history, this is a piece of history. I mean, it's just an unforgettable cover about an unforgettable time. And if you guys want to jump in about anything, please feel free. Otherwise, I'm going to just keep rolling along.
Yeah, quick question. I heard that that Captain America 1 has some dubious provenance. Ben, is that true?
More than I do.
I still own that copy from 2010 to 2012.
Okay. What's dubious about it?
Nothing. Just
that Ben owned it.
Dubious. I thought you meant like something bad happened.
No. You know, I will say that copy has one of the nicest, strongest colors for a low-grade Cap 1, because the reds are usually tough on low-grade copies, Ben, as you know. But that one really, really strong.
This is Cap number 3, a 6.5 unrestored, really stellar book. I mean, anytime you can get this copy in any type of shape, it's fun, it's great, it's a marquee piece for a collection. But, you know, 6.5, beautiful colors, and of course, Stanley's first written story ever. Okay, let's do 2 at a time here. We're gonna get these 2 caps. 2 of my favorite Cap covers, Cap 36 in a 7.0. The Hitler, Goering, and Goebbels cover. Cap is hoisting Hitler out of the Jeep as it's going by, the truck. That's a really classic World War II cover. Very tough to get in a high grade, not an easy book. And then one of my all-time favorite, Captain America's Weird Tales, number 74, a 6.0, really stellar copy. It is so cool to have a great-looking group of caps. And there are actually more than what I pulled out as highlights from the auction. One of the other marquee titles from Timely. We've got a few of them. I'll start off with this baby. Number 1. Yeah, and it's an October copy.
Wow.
So for those of you out there who don't understand the differences, we lobbied for years for a distinction between the first and second printing of Marvel Comics number 1. The October copy, there were approximately 80,000 copies printed. Then it sold out so quickly that Timely went back to publish another number 1, but instead of doing a different cover or anything, they basically covered the October with a black circular stamp of sorts, and then put NOV for November on top of it. So that's the second printing. There were 800,000 copies of the November copy made. And so it's a huge difference in terms of scarcity levels. And this is one of the few remaining October copies, and October copies notoriously will sell for a premium above and beyond what a November copy will sell for. And that's not to belittle or take away anything from a November copy, it's still a spectacular book to own. Anybody who's got a November copy is thrilled to have it. This is just like an extra step above in terms of its rarity level and just cool factor. Okay, we got two more Marvel Mysteries. This one is highest graded, and this one's highest graded. Yeah, two highest graded copies. Really, really cool. This is a great book. Super scarce. Daring Mystery Comics #1. CGC graded 9.2. It's the Windy City copy. It is just spectacular. Really, really gorgeous. What I love about this comic book is when I was first getting into dealing in Golden Age in my early 20s, or actually, I mean, my teens, but in my early 20s, where I finally got a copy of Daring Mystery. I remember the first copy I got was like restored, but I remember the paint job that was done on it, the color work, made it look so bright. And this one has it au natural. It's these oranges are so beautiful, and especially across the masses. And the spine here is just perfect. It's gorgeous. It's the wrap on this. It is a knockout book.
And to mention too that particular book, Daring Mystery 1, 9.2, has got some dubious provenance as well. Right before going into Vincent's hands, it went through my hands.
Oh, really?
And the only reason that I gave that book up is because I won another amazing book from ComicConnect, and that's going to come in a future video. But yeah, that's such a beautiful book. I hope that whoever gets it next loves it as much as I do.
We got some DC Golden Age here, and I'm just so thrilled to be talking about these next few books. First one is going to be from the Ruben Blades collection. And it is Flash Comics #1, CGC graded 1.8, slight amateur restoration. And if you're looking for a great entry-level copy of Flash 1, which not only has the first appearance of the Flash, but also the first appearance of Hawkman, which many people will glaze over and not realize. It is one of the most iconic covers. If you love the Flash, if you're looking for Golden Age keys, if you need an entry-level copy, this copy is for you. And again, it comes from the Ruben Blades collection. And what I loved about Ruben is Ruben wasn't always fixated on grades, although he has some extraordinary grades, or whether a book was restored or unrestored. He was looking to put together an amazing collection. And as you guys see more and more from this collection, you're going to notice in the next few books that we bring up. This is not from Ruben's collection, but it is in the auction. And I wanted to bring it up because it is a Golden Age #1, Batman #1. Super cool. It's a conserved 4.0. The conservation includes tear seals to interior cover and centerfold reinforced and married centerfold. Taking that into account, it does have really beautiful eye peel. Front cover is very pretty. Back cover has a little piece out of it here, but you can see those scans all online on ComicConnect.com. So the next group of books is incredible. It's from the Ruben Blades collection, and again, there are more. This is his detective collection, and there are so many books. And I just selected a small handful. First of all, Detective Comics #1 from 1937. This is the book that started it all. It's the Marvel Comics 1 equivalent for DC in many ways. Glaring orange cover, like the Fu Manchu type character on it. It's a 2.0 qualified. It's got slightly brittle married centerfold, moderate amount of tape on the interior front and centerfold, and still, find me another one. I used to get offered one of these probably once or twice a year for years and years and years, and I don't remember the last time I saw Detective Comics #1. Super tough book. Any grade is a great book to have in your collection.
Can you show that sticker to everybody? Because all of the Ruben Blades have that sticker. So
Yes.
if you go to ComicConnect, and actually you can just type in the search Ruben Blades, and Vincent, if not mistaken, there's like 1,200 Ruben Blades books in your auction. It's a huge amount.
There are more coming in. By the time we are ready to go to auction, we will probably have somewhere around 2,200, 2,000 books. And that's, by the way, that's just the first selection. We spent an entire week going through Ruben's his entire room. The Ruben Blades, for those of you who may not know him, is an incredible Grammy Award-winning Latin jazz singer, songwriter, musician. It was interesting when we were at his home. picking out the books for this first selection of the Ruben Blades collection, it was really funny. It's like stacks of books everywhere, and then in the corner, like 19 Grammys. Just like, wow. And he just had them sitting there. It's pretty cool. Ruben has also been in a ton of movies, everything from Predator 2 to Mo Better Blues and the Milagro Beanfield War. He's also starred in 8 years on Fear the Walking Dead. He's a Harvard educated lawyer and is originally from Panama, and was the Minister of Tourism in Panama for 5 years. And also he ran for the president of Panama. So an incredible guy. Oddly enough, I only knew him for years. I only knew him as, oh, Ruben the comic collector. He came to conventions, was very unassuming, very focused guy. He had his list. He'd go through boxes and he'd buy comic books. And for years and years and years, I didn't know anything else about him other than he was a really passionate and knowledgeable comic collector. And then one day, another dealer said to me, he said, you know, Ruben is an actor and a famous musician. And I was like, huh, what? And so as soon as I started to delve into who he was and what films he was in, I go, oh yeah, I saw him in this. I saw him in this. I started putting it together. And then anybody you talk to from Mexico, Central or South America knows his music. And it's touched generations of people. He's an incredible guy, and we're very, very proud and excited to be representing his collection in this auction. This Detective 16 is a 7.5. There's also, I believe, a 3, a 4, a 2, 6. So there's a lot of great books. This is a 7.5. I mean, you just don't see these books in any grade. You go to a convention, you'll be lucky if you see a 2 or 3 pre-Robin detectives at a convention nowadays, even San Diego. I mean, we had a bunch because we had this run on display, but you walked around the room, there was nothing to compare. That's another great one. And then Ruben's copy of Detective Comics 27, First Batman. This auction is loaded with such great material. And this is one of the coolest books in the collection. There's so many things you can talk about when you're talking about Detective 27, but Bob Kane, Bill Finger, creating one of the most iconic characters in the history of comic books. One of my favorite DC characters. I love the cover. I always think of Da Vinci's Flying Machine when I look at the cape on this first cover. It's just super, super cool. It's a 7.0 moderate professional restoration. Resto includes color touch, pieces added, tear seals, reinforced, super, super copy. Another 2 Ruben Blades books. I picked out the iconic Detective 31. Really, really awesome. Mad Monk, the Castle cover. We had a 6.0 in our last auction. It went bonkers. I expect this book, even in a restored 6.0, to do incredibly well.
I think Tech 29 and 31 get compared a lot. What's the book for you as far as that cover and as far as what people usually want?
I was just having this conversation with somebody a few days ago. I personally just love the 31 cover, but 29 is no slouch. In fact, there is a 29 in this collection that will be in the auction. What do you think?
I think they were neck and neck for a long time, but I think the last couple of years, I think 31 has pulled ahead. And I think part of that is the Neil Adams Bat 227 craze, where people want that as their example. It's cheaper and it's still a great example, but I think that kind of has given the 31 a little bit more exposure in the last few years, because they were really close, maybe 15 years ago. I mean, they were just 1 and 1, like people 50-50.
Keston, what about you? Which one do you like better?
I think, well, I'm a cover guy. And I think 29, if it's just like you look at the description of 29 versus 31, I was like, I'll take 29 because it's the second appearance of Batman on the cover. But man, 31's an all-time great. Some people think it's the best cover of all time. I mean, I think it's like the second or third best, but I'll take Suspense 3 over Tech 31.
And here you go, one more. First Riddler. Riddler showcased in the last Batman movie with Robert Pattinson, which I really liked. I wish he would have been in the green costume, but we take what we can get. We all have to remember that there were days when we didn't get all these comic book movies and TV shows, and anything we got, we were like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. Let's be grateful. So, and let's be grateful for this book. This is a 5.0 unrestored, First Riddler, beautiful colors, really nice. good eye appeal, all around good eye appeal. Another two we can chat about which one's our favorite. You got the Sensation #1 7.0 unrestored Ruben Blades copy. This book is a knockout. Very nice whites on the cover. The yellow sun is beautiful. Wonder Woman looks just great in all her Golden Age greatness and her costume from the Golden Age. And then you got Wonder Woman 1 with this beautiful yellow background, that canary yellows, her on a horse riding into battle. They're both pretty darn awesome. And you look at these and you just go, shoot, it's hard to pick. I mean, Sensation #1, second appearance, first cover. Wonder Woman #1, first self-titled. It's a hard book to choose. They're both great covers. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I go with Sensation 1. I like that cover a little bit better.
Yeah, I'm the same. Sensation 1.
I'll be the outlier. I'm going to say Wonder Woman 1 because I like the yellow background and she's riding a big horse into battle. I think it's cool. I've selected some books from the Golden Age that are neither of the big two. And one of my all-time favorite Golden Age comic books is this book, All Negro Comics #1. And the reason I say it's one of my favorites, I mean in terms of the historical importance and significance of this book. This is the first comic book ever published by an African American, which is really cool. And there's a lot of there are certain stories that go, well, I wasn't there in issue 2. Apparently, the paper suppliers wouldn't sell him any paper. And now you think back when you read these articles, could it have been racism? Possibly, but you're not 100% sure. So he was a journalist, the creator of this, and it has it's an anthology. It has 5 different stories. It's got superhero, detective, kid type story, jungle story. So it's got all different types of genres for people to read. And it's a 3.0 unrestored copy from the Ruben Blades collection. Now, here's another book that I can honestly say I don't remember the last time I owned one or auctioned one. Green Giant #1. I mean, you people out there don't understand. This is an incredible selection of books. This is extraordinary. Green Giant, All Negro Comics #1, rare. Having that in an auction right by itself, it's like, okay, this is a good auction. Having Green Giant #1, I just don't remember the last time I've ever seen one. And
Is that Pelican Press?
Pelican Publications, yeah. Go find one. Go find one in any shape. You can go to 30, 40, 50 comic conventions. You're not going to see this book.
I actually did a video a couple years ago on the Green Giant, and I looked at the census numbers for the top 100 Golden Age books on Overstreet. Guess which one was the hardest to find? It was that one.
Yeah.
It was that one. It was tied with one other. I can't remember. There were a handful, like 6 or something like that on census. So yeah,
it was one of the coolest books I saw when I went to select the books for the auction.
And I'm pissed off because I was gonna keep that one under the radar so nobody saw it. Now you're gonna expose it to the world.
Well, you still have the editing rights, so you can cut that out. But let me show you another cool book. I just wanted to pick this one out. Science Comics #1. Always loved this book. Really cool science fiction cover, bondage cover, damsel in distress, mad scientists experimenting. Lightning flash Electro suddenly appeared. It's just really indicative of the times. That's really cool, like Buck Rogers, Flash Gordon type of characters. Science Comics #1, CGC rated 4.0, unrestored. It's got really nice colors. A Lou Fine cover. Now one of the best titles. Let me just get to it. Catman. Catman is one of the coolest Golden Age titles that a lot of people love to collect or run. Some of the issues are incredibly tough to get. Here we have a complete run, and I just brought out some highlights. Issue number 9 and issue number 13. Super, super tough books. The colors are gorgeous. 6.0. Great artwork on this one. Catman just looks so cool, swinging around the Japanese soldier. Catman 13, really, really tough book to get in any type of grade. This is a 3.5 unrestored. This is a double name collection. This is from the Nicolas Cage collection and now from the Ruben Blades collection. And pedigree as well. It's the Mile High copy. Catman number 15, 9.0. Just a knockout book. Nicolas Cage, Ruben Blades. What more could you want? I mean, geez. And then here's Catman number 16, which got a Hitler, Tojo, Mussolini on the cover with a swastika. Really, really cool book. And this one's graded VG+. And it's also from the collection of Nicolas Cage now from Ruben Blades. But this is really cool. He's choking out Hitler, like MMA style, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, Catman 20, just one of the most iconic covers. If you like Captain America #1 with Hitler getting punched out, now he's getting choked to death. Now we're gonna pick some favorite covers. A couple of my favorites: Starling Terror Tales and Red Dragon #7. Red Dragon #7 is one of my favorites. It's got the Red Dragon blowing out the innards of this Japanese soldier, and very graphic, really cool comic book. Very tough to get, and just a fun one. And you got Starling Terror Tales by L.B. Cole. I don't know if we have to do a vote on this, because I think most of you guys you two will probably vote for Starling Terror Tales. I'm a Red Dragon guy, even though I love this book. 4.5, 5.0, both unrestored. Super, super cool books. Always love that L.B. Cole spider with the skull head. That's just so great.
I like the Red Dragon personally.
All right, there we go. All right, Keston, you're outvoted.
Yeah, I'm on the fence. It's about a toss up to me. Both are great.
All right, now here's the tough one, and I think I know which way Keston's gonna vote, looking over his right shoulder. But we've got Punch Comics 12 and Suspense Comics 30, two of the most iconic and important covers of the Golden Age, and I just can't say enough about them. The Suspense 3 is this great Schomburg cover with hooded Nazis, the bondage cover, and it's just very, very highly sought after, super tough to get. A lot of books have missing pages. This one is really cool. Suspense 3 and then Punch 12. I mean, again, these are both iconic covers. If I have to lean one way, I think I always go Suspense 3, just because it's the one that stuck out in my mind when I learned about more and more about Golden Age comic books. It's the one that stuck out in my mind as a really cool book. But the Punch 12 is really come up like gangbusters over the last 5, 6, 7 years. The market has just blown up on Punch 12. What about you guys? Which ones do you like the best?
I'm a Schomburg guy, so Suspense 3 all the way.
Keston?
Yeah, Vincent, even though I love Punch 12, there's maybe 2 or 3 books I would put above it, and Suspense 3 is one of them. I love it. I love that book. And for one reason, too, it's like Suspense 3, when I saw it the first time, I was like, oh, it's okay. But the more I looked at it, the more I began to love it. And actually, I have the Crowley copy from you all, Vincent.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Fantastic. I have a restored copy in my collection. It's one of my 2 major restored keys. So this book being restored 4.0, slight, super cool. This book, just another classic. I also pulled out one more Suspense Comics number 11, which is just also become incredibly popular over the last 5, 6 years. Goes for big money. This one's a 5.0 unrestored, and it is from the Ruben Blades collection as well. It's got the devil throwing money, and it's pretty cool. I did want to try to round this grouping of Golden Age out with a little bit of silver and even modern book. I mean, so when we're talking Silver Age, talking the first family of the Silver Age, talking Fantastic Four, and boom, we've got 2 copies in this auction, a 6.5 and a 6.0, both really beautiful copies, nice white covers. Overall, good eye appeal on both. You're going to have your choice, whichever one you're more interested in, go for it. Can't go wrong with Fantastic Four #1. And now that the movie's coming out, oh my God, I was at San Diego Comic-Con. The Marvel took over Petco Stadium in the middle of the downtown and did a drone show, drone light show of all the FF characters and Galactus. It was crazy. I watched the video of this. I was just like, oh my God, why was that at dinner that night? I should have been downtown. And it was so cool looking. And then, of course, Robert Downey Jr. announces he's going to be playing Doctor Doom, which I was a little bit had mixed feelings about. But you know what? As long as they do a great story and FF is done right, finally, I'll be fine with it. I'm sure they'll explain it away as to, it's a multiverse type of thing where Tony Stark gets born as Victor Von Doom or something like that. I think there are comic books based on this as well. Fantastic Four #1. We've got, I think, number 5 in this auction as well. All these books are just doing really, really, really well. Getting very, very exciting feedback in the marketplace. Another really cool Silver Age book is X-Men #50, CGC graded 9.8 Boston copy. Just one of those covers when you think of Jim Steranko and how he changed the face of comic books. This cover, if it was put on stands today, would still stand out as like something very cool and unique looking. I got one more book to show you. Not to add on to end this on a high note, we have Wolverine #1, CGC graded 9.9. I saved the highest graded book for last. So also maybe it's somewhat alphabetical. But you got Joe Rubinstein, Frank Miller, Chris Claremont. For me as a kid, one of my favorite comic books of all time. I must have read issues 1 through 4 100 times. My copy, I still have my copies. They're like ratty. They look like they've been through the washing machine. If you're looking for something really cool, and I know there's been CGC's got a little bit of flack for giving out 9 9s and 10s and this, that. Here's what I can tell you. This book came out of a sealed case, and it was one of only a couple copies that got those upper echelon type grades, and it absolutely warrants it. It is spectacular. I was super thrilled to have a booth at San Diego Comic-Con for my comic book, The Addiction. We did incredibly well. By all accounts, for an unknown independent publisher, we had a spectacular convention. Sales were great. Interest in the book was great. People walking by were stopping and picking up the comic book, and that's what we wanted. We wanted to create covers that would draw people in. We also introduced rare San Diego variants, only 50 of each made, of the issue #2, and this is the Ryan Brown cover, which will be hitting comic stores September 11th. Here are the 2 Labrada covers, the VV blue and the gold. A very good friend of mine, Amanda Connor, was kind enough to lend her talents. Her and her husband, Jimmy Palmiotti, did the colors on this. And then last but not least, Robot Cat. Found this guy at C2E2 over a year ago, and he'd never done a comic book cover before. So I worked with him to bring this one to life in his very manga JoJo style. If you're into anime, you'll know what I'm talking about. By the way, #1 did incredibly well. We broke 17,500 in sales on a #1. And for modern comic books, that is unbelievable. Issue #2, September 11th, and then #3 will be hitting the stores in November. We got some great covers, and the story continues. After these first 3 issues, we'll be continuing on with a second series next year, as well as a trade paperback version for the first story arc.
Well, 3 quick things. First, check out Addiction if you haven't already. Second, go to ComicConnect and check out the amazing auction that they have upcoming. And third, I just did a video about the biggest books that are hitting the scene in the fall. And ComicConnect and Ruben Blades collection is prominently featured. If you want to check that out, look at this video. Vincent and Ben, thanks so much for joining me. And everybody out there, hope to see you around real soon.